I gotta say, I'm seeing something about Donald Trump that I haven't seen with other candidates. People put up stickers or avatars and whatnot advertising their support for their candidate, so you know where they stand. But with Donald Trump, it just comes out of nowhere like Tourette's. Screw it! I like Donald Trump. There, I said it, and I'm not sorry. Don't you judge me.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
I don't really have much to say about Trump except for comments made concerning him being a Republican. Is he really a Republican? He used to be a Democrat, or he supported Democrats. So how can we trust that he's a Republican? Meanwhile, Republicans love Ronald Reagan and exalt him as the Republican standard and don't question him as a Republican, even though he used to be a Democrat. He saw the light. Maybe Trump saw the light too. I used to buy into all things liberal. Am I not to be trusted as a conservative? If Trump was looking for favor to run for president, he would have done better running as a Democrat. If he wanted to be president that bad, he could have said, I'll make sure that Planned Parenthood is beyond funded, and teenagers want to get sex change operations without their parents' permission will be fully funded. He could say, I'll buy all the guns for the people to stop gun crimes. He could have been one of those self-effacing, self-loathing, wealthy liberals cursing the rich to make the 99% think he's one of them so he'll be accepted. He could have gone on to say, I want an open border policy. We keep saying how we wish these liberals would see the light. And when one does, you're still not happy. And a person can be pro-abortion, pro-redefinition of marriage, believing in global warming and open borders, and if they say anything critical about Obama, all of a sudden they're a conservative. But with Donald Trump, I don't know about that guy. I can totally respect healthy skepticism, but I'll remind you that Republicans are looking for someone who can walk on water and drown their candidates in the process, except the one who shouldn't have been the primary pick. And Republicans are going to bark back and forth about how they want a conservative, and it still doesn't dawn on them that they haven't promoted conservatism and haven't promoted what it is. And even the most moderate Republicans argue that they're a true conservative while telling you that we need to be more moderate. The establishment GOP will claim to be the true conservatives. The libertarians will claim to be the true conservatives. The neo-Confederate battle flag wavers will claim to be the real conservatives, which really messes things up for us. There's no standard. Or then, to add to the confusion, you got Republicans who say we're the true liberals, as if being a conservative isn't good enough. All it does is give the left more leverage in hiding their rotten scent as you go along with their label game. Being a liberal in the classical sense only works if you're living under a system's founding that assumes that the state is the grantor of your rights. These are systems of oppression. Those who are against such systems would be your liberals. Those who support such systems and adhere to the foundations of them would be your conservatives, which leads to oppression and death. We don't have a system in America where the state is the grantor of your rights. Our foundings recognize that God created you free. The state does not own you. There's no point in being liberal with that, because once you do start being liberal with it, you'll take the liberty to assume that you're entitled to more freedoms. You get greedy, and others will be forced to pay for your greed, and you'll want the state to facilitate you, and you'll despise and reject the God who created you free and position the state before God, because mean old God won't let you have everything that you want at somebody else's expense. But the state will be happy to pander to you because the state wants more power. That's what liberalism does in this republic. It doesn't liberate you from the state. It actually gives the state power to take liberties with the rights that God already created you with. Whereas when you apply conservatism in our republic and stick to what our Judeo-Christian based document says, then the balance of freedom is protected. Yes, you'll still have people whining and complaining that they're entitled to this or that. But that's too bad. You're gonna have spoiled people who believe they're entitled to things, who don't care about how their desires deprive someone else of their rights. Those are your liberals. That's what liberalism does here. So it'd be nice if Republicans would stop saying that, because it only makes it that much harder for us to have a standard to promote. And Republicans aren't effectively promoting conservatism. Liberalism is effectively promoted because it appeals to our selfishness and self-righteousness and whatever people feel entitled to. It appeals to people who want to feel that they're a superior human being because they're more open-minded and enlightened. And naturally, these people gravitate to the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party has always been about supremacy. It's not hard at all to define what liberalism is here. There's not a lot of infighting about liberalism and defining what it is with the left. And that's one of the big reasons why it's so easily promoted in the culture. Republicans can't promote conservatism because they won't agree on what conservatism is, just like they misappropriate the term capitalism. Liberals have a poor standard, but at least they have one. McDonald's is an example of a successful business because even though it's junk food, like liberalism, you're still gonna get the same junk food at pretty much whatever McDonald's you go to. Consistency is important. I thought you free market-loving, entrepreneurial spirited Republicans knew that. Yet Republicans don't seem to understand that a franchise doesn't do too good if you walk into a Burger King over here and go into another Burger King later on, hoping to get the same flavor experience you enjoyed at the other Burger King, and you get something different. Businesses don't thrive that way. And this is a big part of why Republicans aren't thriving. No consistency, no standard to promote. Sure, we're not going to all agree on the same things, but it's sad that even liberals have a more unified sense of what they believe, and what they believe only leads to them ripping each other off. I'm Alfonso Rachel with Zonation, and again, I'm not the guy to ask when it comes to who I'd like to see president. I'm not really about promoting candidates. I try to promote the gospel and conservatism. I just don't see the point in promoting a representative when a lot of people aren't even clear on the conservative approach they're supposed to be representing. Don't you judge me.